Did you know? Slivers were introduced in the set Tempest. Mike Elliott was responsible for the creation, and Plaguerats from Alpha was the card that inspired their design. They are described as insect-like shapeshifters able to mimic the same abilities as their counterparts. Each individual sliver is born with certain qualities or powers. When a sliver is within proximity of another sliver, they share their powers. This is why slivers give other slivers their abilities, like, for example, when a muscle sliver and winged sliver are in play, the winged sliver has flying and gives the muscle sliver flying, while the muscle sliver gets +1/+1 and also gives the winged sliver +1/+1. Even though they aren't telepathic creatures, they share a hive mind, which is a way for all of them to use a communal brain. We still do not know where slivers originated from. However, it was Volrath who took the Sliver Queen from an as-yet unidentified plane and transported her to his home, the artificial plane of Wrath. From there, the Sliver Queen and her brood resided in the furnace of Wrath. A shapeshifter himself, Volrath was fascinated by the slivers' abilities. He experimented on them, creating his own artificial slivers. These metallic slivers had no innate abilities to share with the hive, so they were used to spy on the sliver hive instead. During the Phyrexian invasion, the Wrathy overlay transported the slivers to the plane of Dominaria. Most of them died when they materialized, and the rest were killed in subsequent battles. However, during the events of Onslaught Block, wizards discovered sliver fossils. These wizards brought the slivers back to life, but they did not know the importance of the Sliver Queen. So they did not create her. Without the Sliver Queen, the slivers were rampant and swarmed across the plane. During the events of Time Spiral Block, the slivers manipulated and mutated into new forms. Some of these new breeds mimicked traits of other life forms, such as the Vampiric Sliver, which had the same abilities as the Sengir vampires, or the Gemhide Sliver, which had the same abilities as the Birds of Paradise. Over time, the Planeswalkers Freyleys and Lord Windgrace managed to maintain control over the slivers until the Weaver King discovered the simplicity of their hive mind and took control of them. When the Weaver King was defeated, the slivers roamed the plane. Tempest and Stronghold was the first time slivers entered the game. 6 years later, slivers returned in Legions, Onslaught Block's second set. Onslaught Block had a tribal theme, and Legions only had creatures in it. At the time of Legions' release, Magic wanted to introduce the 9th tribe to the block, so they selected slivers. In the third set, Scourge, no slivers were included except for one, Sliver Overlord. This 5-color sliver was the second sliver leader printed. The third wave of slivers came in Time Spiral. This time, slivers were included in all 3 sets of a block, and another sliver leader was printed, Sliver Legion. Perhaps the second most popular sliver leader after the Sliver Queen, Sliver Legion came with one very powerful ability. All sliver creatures get +1/+1 for each other sliver in play. And just like its predecessors, its casting cost was Wooburg, one of each color. After Time Spiral Block ended in 2007, slivers were not seen again until the Premium Deck series released a slivers-themed deck. This all-foil 60-card pre-constructed deck reprinted some of Magic's favorite sliver cards. However, you may be wondering why it did not include the most iconic sliver, Sliver Queen. Unfortunately, the famous Sliver Queen can never be reprinted again thanks to the reserved list. With only the original printing from Stronghold, the beloved sliver leader goes for a hefty price in the secondary market. The 5th time slivers returned was in Magic Core Set 2014. This time, Magic R&D changed 2 things central to slivers' identity. The first one was their abilities only affected the slivers the player controls and not all slivers in play. The second change, however, did not bode well at all. It was a revamp of how the slivers look on the artwork. Magic made them look more humanoid, rather than the weird, hook-headed, hook-limbed insects players were accustomed to. Magic R&D's reason for this change was they were running out of ideas on how to make newer slivers look different from older slivers. They also said since these slivers would be in a core set for the very first time, they needed to appeal to a wider audience. Making them look more humanoid would give them more personality over the old look. The reaction was lukewarm. Players did not like how different they looked from their predecessors, and even mentioned the new slivers looked like the Predator because a number of them wore dreadlocks. On top of the new look, players wondered why there wasn't a 5-color Sliver Lord. Every time before it, the block that had slivers also came with a prismatic sliver leader. Not having one was disappointing. That changed because the following year, slivers returned in Core Set 2015. This time, Magic R&D included a new 5-color sliver leader in Sliver Overlord, as well as 5 new uncommon sliver cards and a land called Sliver Hive. For the first time, slivers had a land card of their own, and it was surprisingly good. The ability of slivers only affecting other slivers the players controlled stayed. Unfortunately, the same humanoid look also remained. However, the art direction did add hints of the classic insect-like appearance on them. In fact, the only artwork from this batch of slivers that did receive praise was Sliver Overlord and Sliver Hive, both resembling the classic look the game had seen since the original Slivers released in 1997. That's all we have for Slivers. We hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Ashlen Rose. You can learn more about me at my website, ashlenrose.com, or on Twitter at ashlenrose. This video was produced by CoolStuffInc.com. Please support the show by going to their website and checking out the products they sell. Also, make sure to subscribe and give this video a like. Thanks for watching.